Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilor Elliott.
Here.
Councilor Kazanjian.
Here.
Councilor Lenzi.
Here.
Councilor Martin.
Here.
Councilor Armand Mercia.
Here.
Councilor Rita Mercia.
Here.
Councilor Milanazzo.
Here.
Councilor Broderick.
Here.
Mayor Caulfield.
Here.
9 present.
I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the last meeting by Councilor Rita Mercia, seconded by Councilor Milanazzo. All in favor, signify by saying aye. The minutes have been accepted and placed on file. Communications from City Manager Lynch in response to the council's questions of any communications you would like to have answered.
Will we accept the communications?
If none, accept the communications and place them on file by Councilor Armand Mercia, seconded by Councilor William Martin. We have one request for out-of-state travel, rather.
Yes, move approval.
Move approval by Councilor Rita Mercia, seconded by Councilor Kazanjian. Roll call.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Kazanjian.
Yes.
Councilor Lenzi.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Armand Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Rita Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Milanazzo.
Yes.
Councilor Broderick.
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Moving on with the agenda, authorizing the city manager on behalf of the city of Lowell to accept a gift from William C. and Catherine Agatovich of $100 towards Lowell Police Training administered by the City of Lowell Police Department in support of the Lowell Police Department Dive Team. Whereas William C. and Catherine M. Agnatovich desires to donate $100 towards the Lowell Police Department's dive team, and whereas the City of Lowell desires to accept the gift of $100 in support of the Lowell Police Department's dive team towards police training administered by the City of Lowell Police Department. Now therefore be it voted that the city manager be and he is hereby authorized in the name of the City of Lowell to accept the gift of $100 towards the Lowell Police training administered by the City of Lowell Police Department in support of the Lowell Police Department's dive team pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A. Be it further voted that we, the members of the City Council of the City of Lowell, jointly and severally do hereby commend and officially thank William C. and Catherine M. Agnatovich for their generosity displayed through their donation to the City of Lowell for use by the Police Department. Second reading by title. Authorizing the city manager on behalf of the City of Lowell to accept a gift from William C. and Catherine M. Agnatovich of $100 towards Lowell Police training administered to the City of Lowell Police Department in support of the Lowell Police Department's dive team. Any questions? Council Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know we'll send the appropriate official acknowledgement, but I wanted to at least personally say thank you to. I've known Bill and Kay Agnatovich for many, many years, consider them close friends. They have been long time residents of the city, very dedicated parishioners of the former Sacred Heart Parish, and really among the best citizens we have. I don't really know the connection between them and how they came to this particular gift, but they've been very generous to many causes over the years, so a personal thanks to them.
Thank you, Councilor Martin. Any other comments on that donation? If none, roll call.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Kazanjian.
Yes.
Councilor Lenzi.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Armand Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Rita Mercia.
Yes, and thank
Councilor
you.
Milanazzo.
Yes.
Councilor Broderick.
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield.
Yes.
9 yeas.
This next ordinance that I'm reading will be going to the planning board, and I'll read the ordinance. An ordinance amending Code of the City of Lowell, Massachusetts with respect to Chapter 290 thereof entitled zoning by extending the existing TMU zoning district to include 54, 66, and 80 Willard Street in Lowell. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lowell as follows. Code of the City of Lowell, Massachusetts, hereinafter called the code adopted by the City Council on December 23, 2008, as amended and hereby further amended with respect to Chapter 290 entitled Zoning, adopted December 7, 2004, as amended as follows. 1. Section 3.2 zoning map, that existing zoning districts in the areas of Willow Street as shown on the zoning map in the custody of the city clerk with an electronic record of the zoning map maintained by the Management and Information Systems Department of the City of Lowell is hereby extended as described below. A, the land in said Lowell, and more particularly described in Exhibit A, annexed hereto and made a part hereof. B, the above area is also known on plan entitled Plot Plan for Zoning Change, being shown on plan prepared by AO Surveying, a copy which is annexed hereto and made a part hereof and described as Attachment B. The zoning map is in the custody of the city clerk with electronic record of the zoning map maintained by the Management Information Systems Department of the City of Lowell shall be changed to conform to this amendment. Second reading by title, an ordinance amending code of the City of Lowell, Massachusetts, with respect to Chapter 290 thereof entitled Zoning, by extending existing TMU zoning district to include 5466 and 80 Willow Street, Lowell. A motion to send this to the planning board by Council Broderick, seconded by Council Elliott. All in favor signify by saying aye. It's on its way to the planning board.
These next two will go to the hearing.
Excuse me?
These will go to the hearing.
These, let's see. Just give me a second here, please. Thank you. The next ordinance, both of these are going to a public hearing on November 24th. An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances for the City of Lowell, Massachusetts, the code with respect to Chapter 155 thereof entitled Fire Protection. And the next is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances for the City of Lowell, Massachusetts, the code with respect to Chapter 150 thereof entitled Fees. Motion to refer this to a public hearing on November 24th by Council Elliott, seconded by Council Lindsay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Those two articles are going to a public hearing on November 24th. We have before us Article 8 on the agenda, a vote authorizing the City of Lowell through its City Council into a purchase and sales agreement with the University of Massachusetts Building Authority, buyer of 333 South Street, 4th floor, Shrewsbury, Mass., and the University of Massachusetts, Lowell, UMass Lowell, of 1 University Avenue, Lowell, Mass., 01854, for the transfer of the Pauli Tsongas Arena and certain parcels adjacent thereto in the City of Lowell. The Chair would like to recognize Council Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an important, obviously an important vote in an important issue, and I was looking to make a motion to, or making a motion to send it to a joint finance and arena subcommittee meeting so that we can go through the details. And before we proceed, I think we also need some insight from the city solicitor, maybe with some. I think there has to be some legislation also that goes with it.
That's
So
an
it-
excellent motion, Counselor, and who would second that by
Yes.
Counselor Rita Mercier?
And could I
Madam-
just,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, this is a good motion, and it's not to say that we're gonna, squash this. This is a great, great win for the city, Mr. Manager, and I commend you for doing this. However, I think that there are some questions tonight. I know it's a different type of a night, and we don't want to just pass something. I think this is a good motion where we can take our time and peruse it and dissect it a little bit and get some input from the city solicitor, but this is great. Thank you.
Madam Solicitor, would you like to offer some comments on this?
I was just going to add to that it's also an appropriate motion specifically because of the legislation that the council will need. It's currently being worked on, and as soon as that legislation is complete, it will be forwarded on to the council. And I think that legislation will be key in reviewing both the P&S, the term sheet, and then the legislation.
Council Milonazo, then Council Armin Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's a good motion, one which I will support. I just have a question relative to time. in light of what's going on with the state budget, is time of the essence in light of the state budget, or is it two separate issues?
Mr. Manager?
Counselor, I think that time is of the essence, but I don't think that the city should, the city council should go through this with such haste that it doesn't do its job in reviewing this. So I think that if we can take this up, hopefully that legislation will be completed. We're hammering that out this week. If we can get that to the council for next week and perhaps have the meeting next week, and we could potentially take that up at that time, I don't think that sets us back.
Terrific. Okay, thank you.
Council Ahmed Mercia?
The only question I have is that this won't be taken up until we get the legislation, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so at that point, we would then send it to a subcommittee. Now, is the Arena Commission out of this picture altogether now in this?
No, they still play a role in terms of, they will continue to play a role until such time as the arena is fully transferred.
Would they be part of our meeting, is what I'm saying?
They wouldn't be part of the meeting. They act separately on this particular matter. This does have to go to them as well.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Council Bill Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think everybody here knows Matthew Donahue, former city councilor, and I are partners in a law firm. He was recently appointed to the Arena Commission, a vote I did not participate in. Because of that relationship, I checked with the Ethics Commission. The city solicitor and I had a conversation with the general counsel there yesterday. And because of the fact that neither Matt nor I have a financial interest in the outcome of this particular matter, I am allowed to participate in the vote and deliberations, and he is, as long as I make this disclosure and follow it up with a written disclosure to the clerk, which I did earlier today. So wanted to just, make that clear on the record, and as we go forward, I will be participating in the discussion and votes on this issue.
Thank you for bringing that forward. Council Elliott?
Just quickly, what is the timing, Mr. Manager? Presuming we meet the next week or the following week, and
I would think that, I know the Chancellor is concerned that he's hoping, and as am I, that we can wrap this up so that it can be, the transfer can be taking place in January. That means that it has to go. There is an issue with the legislation, and I defer to the solicitor on this. There is the issue that Senator Pangiatakis is concerned that it get into the regular session, as opposed to having to go through the special session. So time. Do you happen to recall what the dates are on that?
I believe it's they have until the end of November for the regular session.
Right.
And so it's anticipated that the council will have a copy of the proposed legislation perhaps as early as this Friday. And we also have indicated to the university that through their council that whenever the legislation is in its quote final form, subject to review by the city council, whatever day that is, it will be immediately delivered to the council, giving the sensitivity of the timing of this issue.
so does it make sense to hold this joint finance ad hoc subcommittee once that legislation is prepared and we address both of them, or is that too much to handle at one meeting? Or
No, I think they tie together, so I think it would make sense to have them taken up at the same meeting, and I would ask that perhaps the meeting could be held next week.
Okay.
And assuming that the legislation can be hammered out, then we could have the subcommittee meet, go through the issues, and then maybe even have a vote next week.
Prepared for the next council meeting?
But at least we'll start that ball rolling.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor.
I agree with the manager. I'd like to see this expedited as soon as possible and possibly take a vote next Tuesday to get this on its way. So, before, yes, Councilor Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to take a minute to, I think this would be the appropriate time to wish good luck to all of my colleagues this evening, but when talking about the Tsongas Arena, I just thought I'd make mention that 2 years ago, when I joined this council, we made our announcement on the front steps of the Tsongas Arena and hopefully brought this issue to the forefront. And I'm very proud to say tonight that my colleagues have nurtured this along with the administration, along with the delegation, and it's very gratifying that we're at this point prior to my stepping down from the council. But I just thought it would be appropriate to say that the legacy, which Jen Myers will write about, may be more than a vote to have a meeting every other week. It could be part of a council that nurtured the sale or the transfer of ownership of the Songus Arena to the, from the city to the university. And again, I'm very proud of this council. This has been a we thing. I think everybody's participated and again helped to nurture this. And it's very gratifying to see this happen over a period of 2 years, and I think should go down as a point on the 2008-2009 council's legacy. Thank you.
Okay. Before we take a vote to send this to the various subcommittees, I would just like to say that last Friday, a majority of the council was in attendance at the arena, and a great deal of thanks should go to Senator Stephen Panagiotakis, who was the mediator through this negotiating tribunal. And it was very apparent to me that Chancellor Meehan dug in, fought for everything he wanted for the university, but it was also apparent that Manager Lynch was also digging in for the best interests of the city of Lowell. And Mr. Manager, on behalf of the council, we want to thank you for your negotiating skills and coming up with something I think we can all live with. The university can, and it's a good win for the university, but it's a great win for the city of Lowell and the taxpayers. So thank you, Mr. Manager, for your hard work.
If I may,
Go
Mr. Mayor,
ahead.
thank you very much for those words, and I just want to also extend my thanks to the solicitor, Mr. Moses, and Mr. Bakey, who also worked quite hard on this over the last number of months to wrap this up, but I appreciate that.
So this is going to be sent to the Finance Subcommittee and the Arena Subcommittee, and when will that meeting convene? It'll be convened probably next Monday, probably, and we can come in with a vote for Tuesday? Is that Councilman Milonazo?
Are we sending this proposed P&S as well as the proposed legislation? We're sending both to the subcommittee? I mean, procedurally, in order to get it, I would say we need to do both.
Procedurally, both should be reviewed by the subcommittee.
Okay.
I think the gist of this whole thing is to go over everything in this contract.
Right, including the legislation, though, the proposed
Right.
legislation, which is
Right.
not before us tonight. So,
I'd just like to comment that as I was there and Chancellor Meehan announced the fact that I had made the motion, but the thing that struck me the most was there was a great photo opportunity when Chancellor Meehan hugged Bernie Lynch around the neck, and I looked in the paper, I looked all over the place, I never found it. Never found that picture.
And
If I were
Manager
you,
Lynch,
I'd call Campanini and say, I want a copy of that because you may need it someday.
and Manager Lynch hugged them back, I noticed that. But
They were both hugging each other. It's a love fest.
But it was good to see, the manager of the city and the chancellor of the university come together, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy task, and it's done. And
It
I think
lasted 5 minutes. I mean, it's
Council Lindsay
the
indicated
last time we'll see that, but it lasted 5 minutes.
2 years ago, I think Council Lindsay and Council Kazanji brought this forward, and many councilors have brought this forward for years past, and it's now what's happening, and it's a win for everybody, so. All in favor of sending this to the joint subcommittee, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? It's on its way. Now, what's on the next? Any subcommittee reports? No. We have a petitions, miscellaneous. Deborah Perez requests handicap parking sign at 156 Chapel Street. Refer it to the traffic engineer by Councilor Elliott, seconded by Councilor Milonazo. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Before we move on to the motion, I notice we have some guests. Is there any particular reason why you're here, or you want to speak, or watching?
I think Councilor Elliott is looking for suspension of the rules to,
Oh,
Sorry, Mayor. A couple of weeks ago, the flood subcommittee did meet and we brought in a motion regarding the flashboard and
So you want a suspension of the rules?
I'd like a suspension of the rules, and the motion doesn't, it's just a little bit more specific.
Okay.
And I know that a letter was going to be sent, and this will clarify and just a little bit more, so.
Move for suspension of the rules by Counsel Elliott, second by Counsel Broderick. All in favor, the suspension of the rules, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Suspensions are in order. Mr. Gagnon.
Hi, Bob Gagnon from 136 Townsend Ave. Would like to ask the city to vote on a motion to direct Nell to follow by the terms of the Wang Agreement. It's based on a motion that was voted on and approved this past spring, but it addresses the second important stipulation of the Wang Agreement. The one this past spring was regarding the height of the boards, and the voice vote and the letter that the city council set did the trick. Nell abided by the terms of that letter. The second important part of the Wang Agreement addresses the strength of the boards. Specifically that when they're overtopped by 1 foot of water, that they shall fail to hold back water. Now, Nell has been playing tricks with the words, but the Wang Agreement is very simple and very specific. And it's very basic that when 1 foot of water goes over the boards, they shall fail to hold back water. Should I read the motion? About a minute? Or is that, yeah?
Yep.
Go ahead.
We, as resident stakeholders of Pawtuckaville and members of the Lowell Flood Owners Group, hereby request a voice vote of our city council in support of the Wang Agreement, specifically regarding the strength of the boards, where it states that the flashboards shall fail to hold back water when overtopped by 1 foot of water at the Pawtuckaville Dam, which is called for in the binding codicil agreement made in 1981 between the dam owners and Dr. Ann Wang, known as the Wang Agreement. We also request vigorous enforcement by the city of this so-called Wang Agreement as it relates to our historic 1875 dam.
Okay.
That's it.
Councilor Elliott, you're moving in that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd like to make that in the form of a motion to
Second.
move that before the city council.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counsel Armin Mercia. Any discussion on the motion? No discussion, roll call.
Counselor Elliott?
Yes.
Counselor Kazanjian?
Yes.
Counselor Lenzi?
Yes.
Counselor Martin?
Yes.
Counselor Armin Mercia?
Yes.
Counselor Rita Mercia?
Yes.
Counselor Milonazo?
Yes.
Counselor Broderick?
Yes.
Mayor Caulfield?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you, Mr. Gagnon.
I'd like to thank. I'd also like to thank the city council and Mayor Caulfield for being extremely supportive and helpful in our dealings with the hydroelectric plant. You've helped us every step of the way, and we all appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. There's a motion on the agenda this evening, a motion by Counsel Rita Mercia. City Council requests the city manager to find ways and means to illuminate and maintain the clock in the tower of City Hall. Seconded by Counsel Milonazo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I always felt that the City Hall building is a symbol of government, and in my opinion, just as the Statue of Liberty represents this great country and the torch is lit, so too should the light at in the City Hall tower. And I know that people go by, such as Meg and Mike, they're walkers, and they go by at night and they see it. And I made the motion Friday, and coming in this evening, it is quite evident that as soon as I make a motion, it is immediately addressed,
You have a
thus
magic wand.
justifying my existence in this seat. So thank you very much for listening to me. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
The motion speaks for itself, and thy will be done. Thank you very much.
You don't think the manager reads the polls?
I'm so glad that thank you, Mr. Manager. I
You must
appreciate
have
it.
something, because we don't get those motions done that fast. You
I
must
know,
have
I'm
something
so
special.
thrilled.
How'd you like to have Rita on your back?
So the motion is already
It's all
addressed and
set,
taken
and
care
I'm
of.
grateful. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Before we adjourn, I want to wish everyone the best, and I just want to let you know that National Grid has removed the double pole on Moore Street, and they're going through a process of removing those streets with 6 poles or more. And I want to thank T.J. McCarthy, Manager Lynch, National Grid, Verizon, Comcast for cooperating with the city, and hopefully Hopefully, we will remove these double poles forever. Any other discussion, nothing else to say? Motion to adjourn by Councilor Broderick, seconded by Councilor Rita Mercier. Thank you.
We were watching the council meeting and Mr. Murphy.